players have, and it's Silhan with a warrior, rogue, and warlock, and Ostkaka here with rogue, druid, and warlock.
We see more and more rogues, and especially more, which we know is fatal once he gets to turn 9, places Malygos Preparation, Eviscerate for those 9 damage.
But as we know, eSuba players are the masters of Zoo. They just own everything with Hunters or Zoo in the last weeks. With Miracle Rogue 2, I would say Silhan just going for Zoo lock.
We'll find out, and it looks like you were correct. Seems to be a Zoo.
Seems to be a Zoo for Silhan here, the player at the moment choosing. Don't get confused by the names. They're getting fixed right away. So it's Silhan versus Ostkaka, and Silhan has a good starting hand with an Armani, Shieldbearer, and Direwolf Alpha.
And we see Ostkaka just tossed his entire hand because he knows eSuba is eSuba. Haha. Do you get it?
I got it, but I just didn't react to it since it was some. Well, it was. Don't be ashamed, guys. It's no problem. He's not going to do it again.
I'm always like that.
It was a one-time thing. So we have Silhan with a pretty good start here. 2 Direwolves Alpha by now, and there's nothing Ostkaka can do. He can coin out his Harvest Golem next turn, and he gets a Keeper of the Grove. That's super good, since with the Keeper of the Grove, he can actually kill those 2/2 Direwolves. The big question is now, is he just going to drop nothing, his Salnus, or coin out his Harvest? I would actually keep my coin to go for...
Keeper next turn
Yeah.
with coin. Yep, just armor up. Be safe.
And get that Direwolf Alpha killed next turn. But as we know, there are more and more cards upcoming for Silhan. His start is pretty impressive. He's just stealing awesome damage. And, well, Ostkaka needs a swipe now. That would be useful. But even if he has a swipe, he would need to swipe the Mani Berserker at the moment.
Yeah, you don't want to enrage him. That's for sure. Yeah, coin keeper, 2 damage into the alpha. What do you think?
Seems to be the play he has to do, but as we know, there's another Direwolf Alpha roaming around in Silhan's hand, and he can even Direwolf Alpha attack the Keeper of the Grove and Mortal Coil him. So that's possible for him. And if there's a, well, maybe a Doomguard upcoming soon, I see, well, Silhan going here easy mode towards the win.
But if Ostkaka somehow manages to get turn 7, he has this really big Ancient of War.
Absolutely. So I would just go...
Drop everything.
Yeah, I would drop him between the Shield Bearer and my Abusive Sergeant to get the Keeper killed. You could get your minion enraged, but it would die to swipe too hard. Well, you deal your 3 damage now. Next turn it's already... Now he has 4 HP. Next turn it's already 5, 6, 8 damage. With Leroy he could deal 14 damage.
Oh, one mana short of Ancient of War.
But Ancient of War will be so annoying. So, whoa. Silhan might have an Iron Beak Owl in, at least one. He might play the Black Knight Zulog version. There's also...
That's also true, yeah.
It's also a possibility. And there's a Doomguard, so... He kind of needs to drop his Leroy now to play Doomguard next turn, or just drop his Doomguard. But
why not Leroy? I mean, you go for Leroy, trade one of the ones with the Shield Bearer, the other one you use to enrage your Armani Berserker, and then you go for the face. I would attack with the Priestess first and drop Leroy next to the other Alpha.
Absolutely.
To get the most value out of it.
I guess that's what he needs to do, since, as you said, you can clear those stupid drakes and you get your Armani enraged even. And if there's only a swipe upcoming, he needs to swipe Leroy and Armani would survive. So everything goes in your favor, whatever happens. And you really don't want to play your Doomguard and just drop your Leroy. It hurts so much.
Looks like the play I said.
That's some pretty amazing draw. He does 7, 9 damage. Gets his Armani. And the Enraged Armani is just the craziest thing. And there's also upcoming... The Priest is buffing someone. So even Leroy getting up to 3.
Yep, that's game.
That was a rather quick one. Ancient of War might... Well,
Nope, doesn't matter.
that's 5, that's another 5, and that's enough to kill him. That hurts. Like, you're happy that you have an Ancient of War. You're dropping it, and you're like, I'm gonna survive everything, since Ancient of War OP, and he's just gonna drop a Doomguard, and, well...
Master of the Zoo.
It's ridiculous. I'm just saying it. That's ridiculous, eSuba. How can you do it? Again, with a Zulok, first game of the week, and it looks like an extreme win here for Silhan.
I think it's just... if I would play against eSuba, I would just build a complete anti-Zoo deck.
You would
Just start with it.
just play Ekop Shaman all the time.
Yep.
First pick, first pick, first pick. Hope it works. Oh, this is not good for Ostkaka at all.
Well, he's down 1 round. What can you say?
Yeti, heal up. If he heals up by 5, he's dead absolutely. If he taunts up, he's dead too. He's just dead.
Yeah, he has to innovate Ancient of the Lore, but...
Ancient of War.
Ancient of War, not Ancient of the Lore here.
But yeah, like, you're not counting with the Doomguard, so that comes extremely surprising here. Zulok wins once again. That was just some crazy win here, and well, we have to admit, Silhan had a perfect draw, and Ostkaka had a compared crappy draw. I mean, he had the Keeper of the Grove, but until then, he couldn't play anything else. I guess Ramp Druid didn't turn out to be the deck you need to face Zulok here. Well, Silhan wins 1-0 for...
And there's still the Miracle Rogue. I would go for my lock.
Yeah, fight fire with fire. I heard it. That works best. So it could be a Zulok himself or a handlock. And as it looks like, Ostkaka is going for his handlock and hopes to win against the Zulok. But if there's a draw again like Silhan had, he didn't even have a Soulfire. I just want to say that. He didn't even have a Soulfire.
He only had Leroy and Doomguard.
Yeah, he's even
Turn
playing.
5 and 6.
He's even playing Leroy and Doomguard. A lot of people don't play those two together to not have a moment like that. But well, it worked out perfectly for him, and he just pulled out the win easy mode. Congrats for Silhan, but can he do it again? A handlock has the Hellfire, and Ostkaka is starting with the Hellfire.
That's really important for him. He can clear the entire board. And we see Flame and Priestess, so he's off to a good start. And Silhan actually runs a Mortal Coil Zulok.
He runs a Mortal Coil Zulok. It's good to enrage your Armani Berserker, for example, or you might just use it to draw cards, obviously. But it's an okay card you can use for your advantage. And Priestess with... Wow, and Direwolf Alpha. It's some super annoying start. Already 7 damage incoming, and turn 4, like... Turn 4 will be your Hellfire turn, but now it's the Flame Imp is already 4/4. You kind of need to play your Iron Beak Owl now, or your Hellfire next turn will be useless. That's some and he can even draw a card next turn, so he might just draw 2 cards with Mortal Coil and Life Tab and be happy with his 7 damage. That's some good start for next turn, like Shield Bearer and drop an Owl maybe first, but Shield Bearer and you can Defend of Argus up everything, and you already have Soulfire Doomguard left.
He can't, he's only at 4 mana.
Yeah, so he cannot play it now, but he already has it in his hand, and his enemy is down to 12. If there's... You need to Hellfire now, but you're down to 9 HP.
It's ridiculous.
Double Doomguard.
What? Is he just gonna Soulfire, please?
No, he can just drop his Shield Bearer and next turn go for Doomguard Soulfire, if it works. It could be... Okay, he needs to Soulfire first and then Doomguard. And win the game instantly. Even gets 2 Shield Bearers.
Yeah, well...
That draw is rather crazy. But
is he gonna Faceless?
well, he can save himself at least now, and next turn go for his Defend of Argus. That looks good. So he will survive another turn. He's not gonna die to Soulfire Doomguard now. Well, that's the better move now. You could risk dealing that damage, but
I would totally go for it.
the problem is if you Soulfire, lose your Doomguard, and then play Doomguard and lose your double Argus, you're dropping down.
I think he should get rid of the Watcher.
The main problem is you're dropping too many cards.
Play Doomguard. Kill the Watcher.
But you kind of want to use your Soulfire first. If you drop your Soulfire with the Doomguard, that will hurt so much. So Ironbeak Owl gone.
No, he loses his other Doomguard.
Nah, double Argus gone, and Doomguard is going to stay. What are you talking about?
Oh, don't go for the face. Why that? Wow.
And that will hurt now if he's.
I didn't get that one. Well, he can still Argus up next turn.
Siphon Soul, and that hurts a lot. Since you're losing your momentum, you just dropped a lot of cards. You don't have any Doomguards left. Well, you can flood the board with your stuff now, but he's just gonna armor up next turn his, just taunt up his 4/5 minion. That won't be pleasant for you.
Most definitely not.
And that's
now it looks good for Ostkaka. Let's be honest.
Just get a Molten Giant top deck and he can taunt up those two, so that would be amazing. He can just taunt up, he can silence his 4/5 and then play Argus between those two. And Soulfire the 3/2, for example. Just clear the entire board. Not in the entire board, but just Rampage hard.
He could also play the Ironbeak Owl. Put the Argus in between. Oh no, silence. Attack the 1/5. Attack the 1/5 first, then use Mortal Cowl. Nope, he doesn't.
Well, he can still use. Well, you want to drop your Mortal Coil rather than your Faceless or your Mountain Giant, so keeping it in your hand is better. I know what you're thinking about, like just draw that card, but it's better to drop the Mortal Coil overall. And now he has a 5/5 Taunter and a 3/2 minion, and that looks super good now for him.
Yeah, his 3/2 is taunt as well.
Well, he's gonna Argus up those two minions and kill the 3/2, so that's obvious. But there's a 5/5 minion roaming around. And how does he want to kill it now? He needs to run in the Twilight Drake following up. Well, the Twilight Drake is not that useful.
Nah, it's 4/3.
But still, he can trade with two minions on the board. It's looking good for Ostkaka. And he's getting a Sunfear Protector.
Now he has a 4/4 that is taunt. That's nice.
4/4 was taunt, and putting that under useful. So many taunters now, and he can trade with everything. So just drop the 0/4, just drop the 2/2 if he wants to. It looks super good. I feel like Ostkaka is just pulling around this game. He doesn't want to lose again against Zulok.
It was super close. Well, it's not over yet, but...
There's a silence for Silhan, so he can silence the 4/4 if he wants to.
It's 4/1. He can trade with the 2/2. Or he decides...
Well, the main problem is you're not getting rid of that 5/5 because you only have 4 attack. You kind of need to run in both minions, but if you run both minions in, that hurts.
What?
Well, that's okay, since there's only the 5/5 left. He can trade with the 2/2, deal 5 damage.
He can silence next turn.
Siphon Soul and Mortal Coil. So many good cards now. Draw a card, Siphon Soul something, kill the other stuff.
Wow.
Get a Faceless, 5/5.
Faceless, your 5/5.
It's a really nice turnaround from Ostkaka here.
Faceless 5/5, obviously. What do you think?
Yep. And he needs to do it to, well, be super safe. He's thinking about draining his life again, but that's so... He's dropping down to 5, but he will have 2 5/5 taunters, so I'm seeing him safe here. there's an Iron Beak Owl for Silhan, so he can silence one taunter to go through it. Still, there's the other taunter standing around. It's gonna be a hard one. And he trades like that to prevent his 5-3 from getting killed by that 2-1 minion. So now, well, there's a Soulfire and a Silence, so he can actually go through the face if he wants to.
Yeah, but there's no Soulfire left.
Oh, but he can go for, he can silence one, Soulfire the other one, and do 2 damage to the face. Next turn draw. He can even draw Leroy now.
And win the game.
And win the game. So Silhan could pull it off. Well, that's not a Leroy, but a Voidwalker could be worse.
That would be 1 in a million chance.
Oh, 1 in a million? Rather take it.
It's not even 1 in a million. Oh, that's...
Only 8 damage. Not enough.
It's not lethal.
He can heal himself up by 3. Just clear the board if he wants to, and be happy to win next turn. Yeah. If you live tap, so there is a possibility of live tapping into an Argus, into a Power Overwhelming, into a Leroy himself. But those are 3 cards he could draw.
Leroy himself wouldn't...
Well, even he could even draw Hellfire. So if he attacks Hellfire, GG. So they're quite okay. He cannot.
Well, he can't Hellfire. That would be draw.
It was like he has 6 HP, but he obviously doesn't have 6 HP. So Silhan, are you going to lose here, or are you going to win next turn? Ostkaka can heal himself up. I would be absolutely okay. Trade with a 2-1, Soulfire the other one, or just leave it alive. And there's a timer now. And this is good to see. Without that timer, we would have seen a 5-minute turn incoming after you, like, considered everything. And he's just clearing the board here. And is there a Leroy top deck? But even with a Leroy top deck, that's not a win. There's just a young Priestess, and he needs to
He needs to tap.
He needs to tap, but he drops down to 7, and there could be Jiraxis. Now a Jiraxis would win too.
That
well,
would be
not
so
not
fun.
anymore. But a Jiraxis, Alexstrasza, there are some useful cards roaming around to be drawn now for Ostkaka. Shadow Flame. Well, you're not going to Shadow
You
Flame.
don't want a Shadow Flame now.
And the problem is, you kind of want to live tap, but you would drop down to 6.
The problem is, if Silhan draws Leroy, it's over if he doesn't Shadow Flame.
That's correct. So you can, well, that's useful. You can Ancient Watcher Shadow Flame now.
That top deck?
So good draw here. Still Leroy GG. So Silhan could still carry away the win, but nice top
And he
deck.
has 2 chances.
Jeez.
I think it's 7 cards, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's not it. That's down to 1
Oh,
HP. He
GG.
loses in the end. Good job, Ostkaka. He
6 cards.
He just turned it around and beat one of the Masters of Zoo.
25% chance to win there. Didn't get it.
Well, 25%. Isn't it a lot? Like, I wouldn't bet my life on it.
You wouldn't?
He tried.
Russian roulette style?
It didn't work.
You against me?
Silhan lost here. It only reeks 3, so I can say as always. And we see Silhan losing his Warlock, Rogue, and Warrior left against Handlock. I would say
Warrior.
I would say Warrior, yes. Control Warrior works best, in my opinion, still against Handlock. Maybe he plays even double Big Game Hunters. Who knows?
That would be mean.
That would be extremely mean.
Well, I haven't seen a single Control Warrior play with double Big Game Hunter.
That would be crazy. And his starting hand is, well, not so optimal. He really wants to start with an Execute, Shield Slam, Shield Block, something like that. And
Double Shield Slam.
Double
and
Shield Slam, Big Game Hunter.
Wow.
Perfect hand for Silhan here. There's one giant for Ostkaka. That's cute, because Silhan doesn't care. He already has his Big Game Hunter in hand. Gramash, kind of dead card until turn 8. He has a Kurkan too. Probably just armor up as always until turn 4. Maybe get a shield block earlier to shield slam, shield block even.
Wow, real.
the game plan for Silhan is really just armoring up, dropping the shield block, destroying the mountain giant, and it looks, well, second mountain giant for Ostkaka, but
Can't clear both. With
the
shield
hand,
slam.
yeah, the hand of Silhan is just crazy, and he even plays a Harrison, so if we see a Jirax's late game, he can draw quite a lot of cards.
It's probably gonna die if he plays it, because of that find.
First mountain giant incoming.
Big game hunter. No. Shield block, shield slam.
Yes. Or not. He wants to get
fine.
off. Well, he can always shield block, and he gets a minion off first. And the thing is, Ostkaka would need to soulfire it away if he wants it to get, if he wants to get rid of it, he needs to soulfire it away after he played his second mountain giant. And his second mountain giant is just gonna die, and that soulfire could draw faceless manipulators from his hand, and he actually plays 2 faceless manipulators.
It draws another soulfire.
And that's actually super good, since Crocon Elite can be played, and that Crocon Elite is not getting soulfired then.
Shield block and shield slam in your face, giant.
And getting rid of the giant is extremely useful for him, and he also has an execute. The only annoying thing about an execute is he's missing any triggers except his minions, and you really don't want to play a Crocon Elite just to trigger an execute.
Well, he has his Fury Warx.
Well, you can also do that, but you want to keep your armor. And Ostkaka has a handful of stuff, but nothing to use, really. He can heal himself up with that Earthen Ring Force here. He could just drop a Sun Fury Protector, but the only possible thing here that makes any sense is healing himself up. But as we know, Fury Warx plus Crocon Elite actually has like 4 damage in the face, and he would need to Hellfire to get rid of it, actually.
Do you think he's gonna Hellfire that?
Well, you Hellfire here, or you take another 4 damage next turn.
He could also watch your Argus.
Well, with that Watcher, he can absolutely do it. Hellfire is a safer way, like get it killed definitely before your minion gets executed, for example. Since we see 2 executes here for Silhan, and still that shield slam.
That shield slam was so nasty.
Down to 16 already for Ostkaka, and no Molten Giant in his hand.
Like, imagine the plays. Double Molten Giant, Argus, and Faceless.
The best,
like 399 Giants with Taunt.
The best thing is here, he can drop his Crocon, for example, do another 4 damage, and then next turn go Grimace, Coin, Shield Slam, and win the game. So he could win the game turn 8 if there's no taunt incoming. And that's unusual.
And we know that there will be taunts.
Yes, there will be taunts. He can also drop his Geddon to just deal 2 damage by Geddon. That's also a possible thing here.
Yeah, but then you would also take yourself 2 armor.
And the thing is, you kind of want to go up in armor, at least like to 7, since your enemy is close to dropping those Molten Giants for free. And you really want to have that armor. He's probably going to drop his Harrison here, maybe to have 5 damage on the board. Gonna keep your enemy on 16, so his giant still costs 16. He cannot drop us plus an Argus. Well, he goes for the Geddon, brings him down to 4.
That would open the possibility of a Molten Giant and a Sun Fury Protector.
Well, the main problem is now he wants to get rid of the Geddon. But he cannot. Like, he could. With a Big Game Hunter. I didn't see that Big Game Hunter. So there could be Big Game Hunter, Watcher, Sun Fury Protector incoming to be super safe. It
makes sense.
It could be the best play to pull off here. And then Silhan's Geddon turns out to be not so useful. I guess that Harrison drop would have been better. He could have dealt 18 damage.
Then there could have been 2 Watchers and an Argus.
Well, absolutely. But he could have dealt with that with a Shield Slam. 1 with Harrison, the second one. So he could kill 2 of those.
Not with Argus.
Well, then he needs to Shield Slam and coin out his Geddon. Something like that. And he still has his Executes. So he could have gotten rid of it, and he decides to not. Oh, that's GG.
He
He
didn't
decides to
taunt.
not armor up.
What?
He can play Grimash, coin, shield slam his own Grimash for 1, 13 damage, GG.
Well, 10 damage from Grimash, 3 from his weapon.
Exactly. And that's how he's going to win. That was quite a surprising end here. Silhan just wins the game. Ostkaka could have survived at least for some more turns with that taunt up. And well, with those 2 Faceless Manipulators, he could have survived for quite a long